you're pointing and then kicking from? Because you do that a couple of times, right? You'd be like,
yeah, and then kicking high.
3, and give that 3 low kicks, and then you still point and go for the head, and then
give him a habit, you know.
Hey, that was not in the
script.
Yeah.
That's really what I'm doing. You know, you develop a pattern on purpose, and once you start seeing that he reacts to the pattern, then you break the pattern with a different punch, and most of the time that's the knockout. Yeah. So that's
now I'm watching the pattern because his hands are up a lot.
Like, always control.
Just like it'd be like water.
But that's why I move a little bit my hands because while I'm doing, you never know when I'm going to attack. If I'm just sitting still, you know.
I have a very big Arab nose. That was literally a quarter of an inch away. Like I smelled that, and you have very nice smelling hands. That was so close, bro. Another episode of Jibber Jabber. This one's going to be called The Vegas Diaries because we're in Vegas, and today we have the legend himself, a man who needs no introduction, but I got to give him one. One of the faces on the MMA Mount Rushmore, even though Awesome took that before, but we're going to do it again. Co-hosting today, President Awesome. Bas, wait, before we even start, did anyone check him for tasers or guns before? Because I know that he's got a thing for tasers, and I'm way too close for this.
A funny story, a friend of mine we were drinking, had a big party, it was my birthday, my friend brought me a taser, and I'm, oh my God, it's a present, and I opened the box, I put the battery in there, and I clicked the thing up, and I looked up, and everybody left. There was not one in the room.
It's like a child with a new toy. And I bet when you looked up, it wasn't like this. It was a slow, sinister look up, right? He put the battery in and he was like...
Nobody there to try it out on.
Right, nobody there to try it out on. Dude, another thing why I'm quite worried is everybody knows Bas's signature move when he finishes a fight, right? And
for sure.
It's the jump and double. So we're in a really bad position right now. If he ever was, if he gets any like flashbacks or anything like that, we're not in the right place. But I think maybe we need to end the episode like that, where all 3 of us jump up there and do that.
In these pants, you can still do it.
I got these are just stretchy bands.
Very smart. He thinks about everything.
No, you have to.
Karate Combat 43. I mean, the place is incredible. This is my first time to come and see one. First time in the States. Been welcomed. It's incredible.
It really is. It really is. And you know, the fight that they put together, you know, the Benson Anderson and Anthony Pettis, you know, we all know now, but 13 years ago, that's where the Showtime kick happened. Can he do it again? Benson has been waiting for this opportunity. He really wanted a rematch because it's been haunting him for 13 freaking years. And he's not going to let that slide. He's going to go like, nah, he's not going to lay down and wait for it. He's going to do his thing. And, you know, he's one of those guys. They're both former champions. I mean, they both know what to do. They both know how to game plan. So I don't know what Pettis is thinking, that he can switch his stance because there's no takedowns. There are takedowns. You see? So that's going to bring a mix in the game. But I can't wait. I can't wait to see him. We have already Raymond Daniels doing crazy stuff. Now have Pettis here. Yeah, it's going to be something.
Dude, one thing I was talking with Awesome on the episode is the thing that fascinated me the most was the angle on the side of the thing. And I think that's incredible. But watching it on TV, on YouTube, and being here now, it looks a lot smaller and compact. Like, it looks huge on there. And I'm like, they got so much space there, but it's not as much space as you think when it comes down to it, right? It's really cool.
You know, in the sport of karate, the distance control is huge. That's a big aspect to the art of karate, right?
Yep.
So, of course, we want a good size where guys can do their movements, but at the same time, we need a fight, right?
Yep.
We need to favor the guy that's pressuring forward for the action. So, you got the pit walls. Hey, you can run up there, you can use your movement. At the same time, it needs to be a good size to force the action.
Yeah, this is a perfect, like, if Pettis could do it on a cage, this is literally a setup for that kick, right? But I don't think it's gonna.
It's way better. It's way better. It's like Pettis said. I believe Karate Combat has been made for me. You know, guys like me, because I really like to do it. We also saw guys with takedowns. They grab somebody, they run up the hill first, so to say, and then they drop them because it comes from a bigger height. You see, so crazy. People already start using the pit right now. People already start building them in their own gyms, which is a very smart thing, so they know what to expect.
You know, you just led into something really great. And Bas, I'm not sure if you know this, but we're trying to plan right now, very quickly, for a Karate Combat Performance Institute for its own gym. Because it's very important that we have that, so we can start bringing fighters in, they can learn the rule set, they can experience what the pit is like. And we want to invite all our fighters on the roster to come through to our Karate Combat facility to finally be able to train properly for the sport.
Dude, incredible. And one thing I was really impressed with during the weigh-ins, when I saw Henderson's form, his shape for this event, like he's not messing around, dude. Like his physique was ready to go. Like that's somebody who hasn't cut any corners, and they mean business, dude. Like 100%.
Every night when you wake up, you're thinking about that kick. You know, you go like, I'm gonna get it when I'm writing it down again. This is 562 times that I'm writing it down now. No, it's been on his mind for a long time.
Yeah, 100%.
So his guy's
to
gonna
the
be
day,
100%.
right? It's today.
One day later, I believe, right? The 16th.
They're gonna fight at 12.
On the 15th.
So it's the day.
Oh, it's on the day of that. Oh, wow.
It was everything's on purpose. The
It's a
timings
movie,
of the event,
literally.
It had to be. It's so poetic. I really chose this on purpose. It means something to me to have it on that day. So at 12 o'clock, we'll get them out.
So I was talking about 13, right? 13 is a weird number. They go to me, so you're superstitious? I say, no, it's bad luck to be superstitious.
See, he got it.
A lot of people don't get it when you say that.
No, they got it, man. Let's talk about your journey into karate combat specifically. We're going to talk about your journey in general, but that's we need to leave that till after because that is a documentary movie in itself. How did you first get into karate combat? And what was your first thoughts when people were like, it's karate? Because we were talking on our episode, why I think this is so important is because I feel the Olympics just took all the fun out of karate.
Yeah.
It was
No, he kicked the guy in the head.
and
He
you get
won because
disqualified.
he got knocked out.
Yeah.
And then he won the world title with it.
Do you know what I mean?
The guy who got knocked out.
Yeah.
Makes no sense. This is great. Listen, 5 years ago, I think it started in Miami. They did in Budapest, I believe, a show before, but the first show that they had here, they called me and they said, hey, listen, we would like to have you as an ambassador. I said, for what? For karate? I go, are you kidding? He said, what do you mean? I go, well, that's the sport I started with, you know, just for me to come back to karate. And you'll see a lot of fighters do the same thing. They start out as karate guys, then they have a boxing, kickboxing, mixed martial arts career, and now they're coming back to karate, their original roots. I think karate is so important. I think the structure, the discipline, you know, the respect. I think it's completely different than any other martial arts. And also you see it with the guys we work with. You know, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, Leota Machida, George St. Pierre, these guys, they're such a pleasure to work with. Nobody has a chip on the shoulders. You know, if they need a little bit extra work, extra filming here and there, it's not a problem. And a lot of these guys nowadays, he said, no, I didn't sign up for this, man. They said I was going to be gone at 2 o'clock, you know. These guys, whatever. You ask them and they will actually do it. So for me, that was the biggest thing. Because karate, and I'm saying this all the time to people, you know, if a 12-year-old son is going to his mom and dad wants to watch bare knuckle boxing, I don't think it's going to happen, right? And same with mixed martial arts, because 12, you know, could still be a little bit too violent, you know, that's what the parents think. If he comes, hey mom, I want to watch the karate combat tonight, karate? And then they're probably going to watch it with him. So the demographic of martial arts, the karate martial arts, is so much larger, I believe, than it is in regular martial arts because everybody's used to karate. We have Olympians fighting full contact. What is not to love? Thinking of Rafael Agaev coming in here, who's the GOAT in karate, who everybody said, well, this is the best guy. Then Raymond Daniels comes in, who is an unbelievable fighter, who calls himself the GOAT. They fight. If I had to bet my house, I would have betted on Raymond Daniels. Rafael Agaev took it. He won. And that, I think, really put karate on the map because then they said, wait a minute, karate is not about a bunch of guys hitting in the air and screaming. They actually translate to full contact really well. And I think that was a big deciding factor for us when Agaev won that fight.
100% incredible. And even like looking at the guest list alone of who's coming to the event today.
That guy.
It's crazy. Awesome has been awesome, dude. Like it's what is needed because even I have a couple of friends who are like, you know, big UFC fighters and that. And when I told them, yo, come and pull up on the event, they weren't saying what is it or they know they've heard about it and they want to come and experience it. Do you know what I mean? So I think that's an incredible thing. And I can only see the journey going up from here for karate combat.
That was a big part. When I joined the league, that's what we were trying to do. We really wanted to impact the combat sports world and get that respect and honor to the art of karate. That's very important, you know, because before karate was in a sort of bubble and they were all competing together and it was high level competition. But since they're together, we're not getting these other demographics. Now we're bringing other styles in and it's becoming intriguing, you know, and they're fighting in our rule set. They're fighting in karate at the end of the day. And it's bringing different variables. It's evolving the art and the sport because all these new eyes are on it.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Bas, I need to see your palms. See, there's a reason why he has that on there. When I'm watching your old pancrase videos, the palm strikes, dude. Like, I'm an Arab, so I grew up with palm strikes from my mother. Yeah, do you know what I mean? So that was a thing for me that was normal. Do you know what I mean? But you come from a place that was so different. than the fighting world now. Like, I've watched fights of yours that have lasted 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? As in non-stop, like almost. You know, so how do you feel about the change? Are you kind of like, oh, you guys got it easy? We would fight for ages where they get small rounds. Do you know what I mean? They get some time to rest. They get some time to recover. What's your views on that?
Well, the first thing is always funny when people look at my records. You know, you go to Wikipedia, they go like, "My God, you beat everybody in the first round." They go, "Yeah, it was a 30-minute round."
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm trying to say.
And like you said, I got
Yeah.
like 27-minute fight. I go like, "What the heck?" So, you know, it's different. You know, when you arrive there, I was used to weight classes. I was used to time limits. I was used to all that stuff. And on the day of the fight, I found out because there was no weigh-in, which I thought it was weird the day before. And did we talk about a weight? And now I got, okay. So I went to the day of the fight, and this big, tall Japanese guy walks up to me. I said, "Hey, you're the promoter." He goes, "No, I'm fighting you tonight."
Yeah.
They say, "You're fighting me tonight." I said, "What's your weight?"
Was
And
that
he was
Suzuki or?
no, it was Yanagisawa. Aji,
yeah.
no.
Yeah.
He was like 33 pounds heavier than I was. And I'm looking at my manager, and then the producer walked up. I go, "Oh, so you're the owner?" Yeah. I say, "Is he not too big?" He says, "Oh, no. There's no
You're
weight
fine.
classes.
Yeah, yeah,
Everybody
yeah.
fights each other." I go, "Oh, great." So I'm trying to act, you know.
Dude,
And I said, how many rounds we're fighting? He says, "One." I go, "Oh,
Yeah,
awesome. How many
amazing.
minutes?" 30.
Yeah.
I go,
Oh, you found
Dude.
out the day of?
on the day of
No,
the
this
fight.
is-
Dude,
Yeah, it
not
was the
just
most
that.
insane thing.
Bas was
Madness.
coming out chilled wearing purple swimming shorts, bro. Like it wasn't even like they had thingies.
Can we
Literally, you
say
were wearing
this?
swimming
A
shorts. I
lot of
remember.
fighters today, if the weight is missed by 2 pounds,
Oh, they
won't fight.
complain, they cry.
won't
they
fight.
go like,
Back in the day was
Can
so
you believe
different.
that?
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
So I had Hoist Gracie on the show, and he was telling me his dad had a fight for 3 hours.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, sometimes when I'm going to the store, just walking to the store to get some milk, it's a 5-minute walk, and I'm like, I really should just order this online. Do you know what I mean? Like walking upstairs for 2 minutes, but you were constantly going on non-stop. And also what I want to know, do you have a set of jars in your house with people's livers in them?
Livers.
Because your liver punches were like a thing for you. That and the guillotine, and it was just like, dude, Bas was like, once the guillotine was in, it's over, bro. It's not gonna happen.
It was the only move I knew in the beginning, right?
Yeah.
Because you know they're gonna shoot, so I made sure my guillotine was really good. And then suddenly I started growing in it, and I just fell in love with ground fighting suddenly. I always thought it was stupid. There was one day I was walking on the street the day before the match, and we hear this hybrid wrestling, pancreas, and we're all the fighters there. And behind me is the 10th degree Kyokushin, John Blooming. He's next to Bas Rutten, who's the founder of Kyokushin. He's the highest Dan holder there is. And he was just visiting, and I'm seeing a guy sitting in half guard, and he's making a heel, going for an inverted heel hook, which I never knew what it was. So I go like, I look at him, I go, "That's a cool move. I gotta remember that." You know, so that's the only thing I said. So the next day I'm fighting, I'm in that position, and I go, might as well try it, right? So I grab the heel, I fall back, but I never did it before in training, so I had no clue the amount of pressure I put on his knee. Well, we heard a pop, so I heard a pop, and I let go, and he stands up, and the referee is also freaking out. I'm freaking out because I thought that's it, and he feels his knee, says, "No, I'm good." And I'm looking at the referee, and they go like, "We heard a pop." What we didn't know is that his shin bone was the sound we heard.
Oh,
Yeah, and then he kicked me with that leg, and I just leaned into it, and then it flipped around my leg,
Oh, wow.
and he snapped the shin bone in half. That was the moment for me that I go, whoa, it's way tougher ground fighting than striking is. But if you think about it, a ground fighter, you can dislocate and pretty much dislocate any joint and break any bone in the body.
Anything over purple
That's
belt,
a big power.
That's
That's it.
over, yeah.
So, and then I started focusing on guard, and then I fell in love with it, and that was it. I never lost a fight anymore. My last fight I lost by a knee bar.
Yeah. 22
And
fights,
then,
right?
Yep. And then my next 8 fights I won by submission.
Yeah.
And they go like, "What's going on?" Because I was only doing submission. I would wake up in the middle of the night.
Dude, this is
I would
hilarious.
dream a dream a submission, wake up my wife, put her in that submission, would say, "Your shoulder's hurting, right?" Yeah, okay, I would write it down, and then the next day I would try it out in training.
Phenomenal.
And during the day, you know, I say, "Lean over." She leans over, I say, "Are you getting dizzy or is it hurting your throat?" She said, "I'm getting dizzy." It's a blood choke, that's so weird. You know, and I would write these post-its. I had the whole house with combinations and different setups, and like anything else, you do it a lot, you fall in love, and then you become good.
That's insane. I mean, the saying behind every man is a powerful woman is literally this, like,
Oh,
do you
yeah.
know what I mean?
She's
like
gone
she
straight
went
to heaven,
through
man.
it with you, right?
Oh, that poor lady. And she predicted everything also. It was the wildest thing. She knew me at the time when I came from Thai boxing. I never wanted to fight anymore. And it was in 92 we met. And she knew I wasn't fighting. It was over. And I always said I was not going to fight anymore. And she had this weird stare in her eyes. maybe like in June '92. And I go, what are you doing? And she said, you're going to be a famous fighter in Japan. And I go, no, I'm not going to fight anymore. She said, yeah, but you said Holland. You're going to go to Japan. I go, whatever, right? And then 9 months later, I get a phone call that I had to jump in my car because it was a tryout for this new organization, Pancras, and it was in Amsterdam. It was Chris Dolman. He's the godfather of mixed martial arts in Holland. He says, jump in your car right now and come to because they need fighters. Maybe you have a job. So I got in a scuffle with one of his guys, knocked the guy out because he tried to knock me out, but his fingers were pointing at me. They said, we want him. So now I'm fighting in Japan. Then I'm fighting for like 5-6 months and she has the same look again. I go, now what? And she said, we're going to move to America. You're going to have a TV show. I had a show on TV for 9 years here. I mean, she predicted the whole thing. It was the most insane thing. So, and here we are.
Dude, that's insane, bro.
And she's there from the start. You know, one thing that I admire about Bas tremendously, you know, I'm newly married and I honor my wife a lot. He does as well. And the mindset we have in this marriage, I think is most people don't have, you know, and he honors her so much. She stuck with him from the start to finish. She guided him. And it's really admirable and it's something that I look up to. My wife and I look up to tremendously.
Yeah, no, that was the first thing, you know, when we met also. I saw the way you were talking to Laura and with your dad and everything. I go, okay, good. We got a good guy.
Yeah, 100%.
That's important.
I even have this conversation with my wife and I'm like, yeah, you messed up. And she's like, why? I'm like, because I'm never leaving. And even if you try, I'll find you. It's not happening because I don't believe in that. Obviously, I have the kids in there, but I don't believe in, okay, it's getting hard, let's leave in there. It's so important to have both the parents together and this is it, this is for life.
I'm doing these speaking events and there's a moment that I'm talking about that when I was a coach. I said, you know, as a coach, you never date a student, right? And I said, but I broke that rule one time. Yeah. And then people start laughing. I said, then again, I'm 32 years with her right now. And then they start clapping and I go, you see, that's what wrong is with this world. Yeah. This should be an exception. It shouldn't be an exception. This should be the rule. 100%. Everybody should be like that.
You know the funniest thing? So I used to be a celebrity trainer back in the day. I met my wife at my boot camp. Just like you said, the student thing.
No way.
Yeah. So she literally turned up to the boot camp and I was like, oh, okay, you're messed up now. That's it, it's done. I pulled her out in the beginning and I was like, okay, we're going to play Bulldog. You catch everyone kind of thing. And I was just like, okay, I'll put you in the test, it's done. Like, and from that day, the really funny thing is, we went for a date, our first date. So I said to her, listen, just delete all the guys' numbers in your phone. She was like, what do you mean? I was like, it's over, it's done now.
This is on the first date?
I made her cry on the first date. So I was like, she was like, why? I was like, okay, look, in a week, you're gonna be my girlfriend. In a year, we're gonna be engaged. And the year after that, we're gonna get married. And the year after that, we're gonna have kids. And she was like, you're pretty full of yourself, aren't you? I said, in a week, you're gonna be my girlfriend. In a month, and it literally to the day happened, every single one.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it's just like, in this day and age, everybody is so used to just doing everything fast and just releasing things. They got 40 pairs of sneakers and they're just throwing them away. It's like, that old school mentality is the way.
Did you become aggressive as well on the first day?
Yeah, but he had he's like, look, this is what love feels like, and it's gonna be like this forever.
Well, I was in a relationship for 4 years, and she was in a relationship for 3 years, and we didn't know. We just liked each other a lot, but I had no clue what she would do, and I just cut off my girlfriend. I said, listen, I think I give the dumbest lie what everybody does. I love you, but I'm not in love with you. That's what I realized now. And I said, I know it sounds really scary, but it is. And she, and how long has this been going on? I said, I don't even know if she thinks the same. I have no idea. I'm going to have to break it to her. I said, you did this? Yeah, I said, because I just feel completely different. So I went to her, I said, listen, I broke up with my girlfriend. I said, I'm not expecting you to do it with you because I don't even know if there's a connection. We will see. I said, but take your time, I'm just wait. And the next day she broke up and she moved in.
That was wow. He planted this seed so indirectly. He was like, look, I don't know how you feel, but I'm just going to tell you that all the pressure's on you now. You knew exactly what you were doing. Like,
or else.
Yeah, he literally, she broke up and she came over the next day and he's like, okay, I've already booked a dinner for us. Like, from the day before, you knew.
My wife had the opposite reaction. You see, the first day I went up to her and I said, I will never be with another girl. I'm with you forever. We dated for maybe 2 weeks. She thought I was psych. She thought I was playing her. She dipped on me for 9 months.
Wow.
Broke up with me and I chased her and chased her. For 9 months straight, I chased her. I would drop, she was in law school. I would drop off study material, coffee at her house. She blocked me on everything. After 9 months of chasing her, she's like, all right, this guy's not playing. He actually
he's dedicated.
And
If
we've
he's
been
going to
together
take 9
since.
months to get there,
Yeah.
he's not going to quit.
So I
anytime
scared
soon.
her. I terrified her.
It's quite funny. So, guys, if you want to know how to get a really good woman, you have to frighten the hell out of them, stalk them, a couple of chokes here and there, and that's it. They're yours for life, man.
And that's the end of the episode one.
By the way, that was all Bas's information. I do not comply with all of this. Why the Dutch? What the kickboxing is? Why are they producing such amazing kickboxers there? I mean, you think because Thailand, and then the Netherlands, it's not like it's around the corner.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But they have produced, you know, Verhoeven, yourself, such incredible kickboxers. What about it? How did that connection get made?
I think there was Johan Vos and Jan Plas from a Giro gym and the gym from Ernesto Hoest. They went to Thailand. They got their butts kicked. And they realized, wait a minute, these guys kick a lot. Like 80% in Thailand was kicking, all back and forth. What if we combine Western boxing, we set up our kicks with the boxing, and then see how we're going to do? So they start working on that. Then you had Rob Kamen, all these freaking guys, André Brilleband, that real group that I used to watch go to fights when I was young. And they just started terrorizing the Thais. I was in the Jaap Ede Hall, which was a big event where always were martial art, Thai boxing shows. And we had one night, we had 4 guys from Japan, from Thailand coming in. It was a live stream to Thailand, 4 world titles, and they all got knocked out. And it never happened again. So they all got one. I have a picture running on the making a picture of Rob Kamen and running back, you know, and then now these guys are your friends. It's kind of cool.
It's
you know,
really weird.
This is something
How
super
they become your peers.
Look how it evolved. They decided, okay, right now Muay Thai was in that bubble where they're kicking. Then they said, let's bring some Western boxing. Let's introduce this and let's see how we do. And it just evolved so much. And now striking is where it's at. And that's what we're doing at Karate Combat. That's why I'm introducing these guys.
Dude, it's so incredible, like the evolution of martial arts. Like what a lot of people don't know, and you can fact check this because I could be wrong, but I'm 100% sure I'm right. 60% of the time, I'm right every time. So even boxing, you know, like the old British and the old way of boxing would be like, come on, put your dukes up like this. The reason it went up like that is because when the missionaries went to the Philippines and they saw the Cali style with the sticks, they'd always have their hands up like this. And then they were like, okay. And then they figured out the whole having their hands up with the protection and stuff. And just seeing the different ways that different cultures took different things from each other. And like even with the UFC, it's like Hoist came in there and was like, oh, you want to go to the ground? And then changed everything. And then people started realizing, nah, we need elements of each thing to be the ultimate fighter. Do you know what I mean? And then again, here, you've taken different things from different things, but then brought back the original, you know, of karate and put it in there. And I just feel like the respect of the name of karate, because we spoke about this, like outside my house, there's a 7-year-old black belt that trains and does katas outside. And every time I walk past him, I'm like, I will choke you out. Like, I will whoop your ass, bro. And he looks at me like, see my black belt? And I'm like, yeah, you got that in 3 weeks. Your dad is a sheikh, bro. Like they used to, like jiu-jitsu, bro, you ain't getting your black belt. Unless you're phenomenal, spectacular, you might get it in 5 years. But it's like a 10-year plan. It's not a...
Oh, exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
I'll explain one thing to you
So
very
that's why,
well, because I have, 25 years now in jiu-jitsu. I got my black belt from Hawaii. Actually, I did many privates with Elio Gracie, his father. So, big background in jiu-jitsu. Now, the way it evolved so much is exactly what you said, introducing all these different styles, right? One thing people forget, they don't know the history of jiu-jitsu. Mitsuyo Maeda was absolutely hated in Japan, actually, because they didn't want him to travel around and show jiu-jitsu to the world. He didn't want to do this, but he knew to evolve the sport, he needed to go to all these different countries and fight these different styles and find out what works and what doesn't. He needs to put it to the test. In Japan, it was not, they didn't want this, but he went around, competed with all these different countries, different styles, and then jiu-jitsu started developing, and then he taught it to the Gracies.
100%, yeah, because there's that culture as well where we don't teach the foreigner. I mean, Bruce Lee had it when he went to America
you give the power
originally,
away.
And in those days, it was very protective. Do you know what I mean? And let's talk about Bruce, because Bruce, I think, is pivotal in mixed martial arts. I think he was one of the first who was actually doing MMA, right?
Bruce Lee?
Yeah.
Listen,
I said Bruce like he was one of my cool friends. Let's talk about Bruce for a while, you know.
You know, just throwing it out there. I interviewed his daughter.
There you go.
You know, one of my highlights, because I told her, I said, the reason I'm sitting here is because of you, your father. You know, because I was 12, had a horrible skin disease. I was the leper in school, that's what they called me. So I got bullied a lot. And then I saw Enter the Dragon when I was 12. And I go, wait a minute, if I become like that guy. So it took me 2 years to convince my parents. Finally, they allowed me to do it. I got taken under the wing by an adult, went to adult classes, taekwondo. And then everything started going really fast. Like in months, I was dropping adults. And they were talking about me in the dressing room. And I overheard these guys talk, you know. And as a kid, where you normally only hear bad things about you. But adults are saying, hey, did you see the freaking kid, man? Bas, he knocked out him with a high kick. And everybody's laughing. Man, that kid's got a lot of talent. So that got to me. And then I got into a fight with the biggest bully in my school and knocked him out. One punch.
Wow.
And that was it. And that was, my life changed. Like till this day, that's still my biggest fight because it was the first time that I stood up for myself. Hey, leper. And this time I shouted something back. And they were on the bicycles, like 6, 7 of his friends. And they started to chase me. And I go, no. And I put my bike on the stand. I said, I'm going to face it now. And they surrounded me. And I knocked him out. But he broke his nose in the process. So the police showed up. So my mom and dad.
He broke his nose in the process? Or
Yeah.
you broke his nose? I like the way he phrased it.
Very well.
Yeah, he phrased it excellent. He might need you. Like, 100 bucks. You need a lawyer, he'll get you out. No win, no fee, right?
But that was it. They took me off right away. But now I had the name, right? Now I start going after all my bullies. Now I made a list with all the
You
bullies.
became an assassin,
And I said,
bro.
oh, dude.
Yeah.
But I took everybody. I had guys saying, please, I don't even remember. I said, I do. Bonk.
He's got like
You know,
tattoos
I
on his
get.
chest, like, is your name here?
Yeah. That was it.
Yeah.
Life-changing moment. Just one day. Bruce Lee.
It's incredible how Bruce Lee affected so many people. So you've got a Dutch guy who's, you know, watching Bruce Lee. When I watched Bruce Lee when I was younger, it was over for me. Like I made my mum buy me the black plimsolls and the white socks and everything. And then I remember walking out the house, and then one of my mom's friends was like, why is he dressed like that? And she was like, oh, he loves Michael Jackson. She thought I was doing the Michael Jackson thing. But it was like Bruce Lee. I was wearing the plimsolls. Like, and I'd literally, like, you'd hear sounds coming from my room going, whoa! Like, and it was like, he was
everything.
Everything.
But then if you look at this book, The Tao of Jeet Kune Do,
yeah.
everything is in there. I'm talking toe holds, inverted heel hooks. Everything is in there. You go like, there's no way. Knee bars.
Yeah.
I go like, in The Tao of Jeet Kune Do. Dude, he was really the godfather.
He was the original MMA fighter.
Yeah.
100%.
I was like, dude, because he knew. He knew. And he also adapted a lot because he said that kicks to the head were easy to see, to detect. So he didn't believe in kicks to the head. And then he trained with Chuck Norris, who kicked him in the head. And he goes, okay, we'll take the kicks to the head now as well. We allow it. You see, so he was also evolving and taking the best things from every martial art.
Is that where you got your pointing and then kicking from? Because you do that a couple of times, right? You'd be like,
yeah, and then kicking high.
3 and give that 3 low kicks, and then you still point and go for the head, and then
give him a habit, you know.
Hey, that was not in the
script.
Yeah.
That's really what I'm doing. You know, you develop a pattern on purpose, and once you start seeing that he reacts to the pattern, then you break the pattern with a different punch, and most of the time that's the knockout. So that's
now I'm watching the pattern because his hands are up a lot. It's like,
always control.
Just like it'd be like water.
But that's why I move a little bit my hands because while I'm doing, you never know when I'm going to attack. If I'm just sitting still, you know.
I have a very big Arab nose. That was literally a quarter of an inch away. Like I smelled that, and you have very nice smelling hands. That was so close, bro. Amazing.
No, one thing I realized: each figure we named in the martial art was a very big disruptor. You think about Mr. Umayyad, there was a lot of pushback. They didn't like what he was doing. Then he goes to Brazil. You talk about Helio Gracie, they did not like what he was doing. These no-hold-barred fights. You talk about Bruce Lee, they did not like what he was doing at all.
Musashi, you got so many people.
But all of these guys created something beautiful, created something that it was evolving so rapidly. I feel like there's a lot of pushback by the purist karate guys on Instagram, on social media. But what we're creating so beautiful. They're going to see it.
You're following history.
Oh, yeah. In 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, karate will be absolutely mainstream in the real combat sports out there.
But that's the beautiful thing. Again, the point that you were saying is all these people were trying to do something for everyone to take and learn from.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? And that's the same thing that you're doing now, because I know that there's a lot of karate old school people who hate what you're doing.
Yeah.
But it's like, hey, do you think that we stopped evolving or what?
Well, please don't be political, Bas. Okay, so right now,
please be political, Bas.
This is the first event that I've had absolute control of. The combat sports fans are in love. They're so happy. I'm getting calls from Henry Cejudo, Faraz Zahabi, everybody. GSP's in love. Everyone's happy. But please, honestly, the purist karate practitioners, they're a little upset. They don't see the direction. They may not understand how to evolve the art, in my opinion, too much. What is your opinion of all these new things that we're introducing to the art of karate.
It's apples and oranges, I would say. You know, you keep doing your karate, what you're doing. You're purist. That's okay. We're not going to stop here at the Olympics. We're here just to make sure that the whole world knows that you guys, who people always say, oh, it's point karate, they don't know how to fight for real. We just show the world that you can fight for real. So kind of you should be happy about it, right? If you think about it, because what is martial arts? Right? It's not invented not to hurt your opponent. It started as a self-defense system, you know, all the way back with the military. There's no weapons. Okay, we better make sure that we can punch and kick. And that's how it started. So it needs to be effective. Well, over the years, they took the effectiveness out of it because, especially we were talking about it before, if you see the Olympics, a guy got knocked out, and because he gets knocked out, he wins the Olympic gold. It makes no sense to me.
You what? What?
Yeah, you got the world champion, dude. He goes, yeah, but you knocked me out. Yeah, great, dude, you got it. You know, do you really want to be that champion? You know, that's honesty. And I know, understand. People go, yeah, but if it's not in the system. To me, actually, when I looked at it, the guy dipped into the kick. When he was throwing the kick, the guy had moved into it. So
like the guy who went into your fist when he broke his nose.
Yeah, all the time, all the time.
He repeatedly just kept on hitting my fist.
It's his fault. He's kind of doing it. It was in the way. You know, he should have slipped it. You know, but that's what I'm saying. I think that now we're proving what karate was originally intended to do. Stopping people. That's it.
And you have point karate guys who are coming and fighting here. It's not like all of them are like, no, we're going to boycott. They're coming here and fighting.
No, even better. If you saw the first few shows, you see karate artists coming in and they go punch, they connect, and they stop. And then the other guy just kept going and they go like, oh crap, I got to keep on going. So they needed to evolve as well. You see, that was the fun thing with Tyrone Spong, you know, the incredible striker from Holland. He was fighting mixed martial arts for the World Series of Fighting at the time. It was before they turned into the PFL. And he dropped the guy and he automatically walks back to his corner for an 8 count. And then his corner goes, no, you got to keep on going. He goes, oh yeah, shit. He ran back to the guy. But you see, you're used to these rules and now suddenly you have to break those rules. So everybody started cross-training. Everybody started boxing, kickboxing, because they knew now they needed it.
100%. And this is one of, you know, the huge respects that I have for GSP is he was one of the first people that kind of changed the way you train. Because a lot of people would just train technique, they train, you know, grappling, all that. But he was like, oh, I'm taking shark cartilage for my, you know, for my knee, and then I'm doing, you know, Olympic lifts and doing box jumps and all that stuff, where that wasn't really the way people were training. And then after everyone saw him, they were like, okay, you know, this is the way that we need to all up the game now, because he's got scientists with him.
And I gotta tell you, GSP, you know, he maintained that amazing karate traditions and honor of the martial arts, all this stuff throughout his career. He wasn't acting crazy or anything like that. One thing about this league, my job as a president, is to really highlight the personalities of each fighter. It doesn't mean they have to all act like Conor McGregor. They can act like themselves. And I got to tell their stories and promote them the way they want. One thing that's very interesting is yesterday we have 13 fights on the card. 2 of them got crazy in the weigh-ins. Absolutely crazy. That ratio is not so bad.
No,
11 great weigh-in. 2 kind of crazy little spice there.
You need a little crazy.
You know why you need a little crazy? I thought about this the other day. If you have all good guys, nobody's going to recognize them as good guys. You need the bad guys in there. GSP is GSP because there's a Nick Diaz. GSP is GSP because there were guys out there that were the antagonists as well. And then he got to show the martial arts tradition. That's what we have here. Naturally, there will be the bad boys. Naturally, there'll be the guys that will maintain the tradition, and then we can put them against each
100%.
other.
Without fear, there's no courage, right? That's with everything.
I love that.
We need to put sound bites on it, like, do you need people like me, so you can point your fingers and say, that's
the bad guy.
That's what he should come out to with his thingy, right?
But GSP, the way we got him, they were talking about, I'm not going to talk which actors, but I said, that's never going to work. Don't get these guys. It's going to be hard to work with karate combat. I said, why don't you get a guy like freaking GSP or Leota Machida, Steve? Yeah, but GSP, we want to go in. You know, but it's hard to get a hold of him. I said, let me write him a text. So I text him, I say, hey, George, we would like to have you for karate. He calls me like 10 seconds later, dude, I love that show. I've been watching it for a long time. That's how we got GSP, you see, because he already was watching it. And GSP is another fun story that I had. Dwayne Ludwig was fighting Jens Pulver when he just left the UFC. He was the first guy to knock out Jens Pulver at that event, but George Pierre was fighting on that first event. And it was his 4th fight. And I remember sitting backstage, and he walked by and I go, excuse me. I said, what's your name again? He said, George. I said, can I talk to you? And he go, yeah. I said, really good job, man. I said, you're going to be the next world champion. And he goes, you think so? I said, no, I know so. You watch, you're going to be the world champion. He goes, oh my God, thank you so much. I said, can I ask you a question? I go, yeah. I said, how is it that you don't get afraid before a fight? And I go, who told you that? And I go, what do you mean? I say, everybody gets afraid.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just the way to deal with it, you know? He says, oh, okay, so everybody's afraid. I say, yeah, they're just actors, you know? So, but if you're not afraid, I think that's a problem. Because then you're not on your toes, you know, your reflex are a little bit off. You have to have that. But that's how George and I met. And I'm very happy that I told him he was going to be a world champion, because many fights later, you see, he became the world champion.
I want to know what they're eating in the Rutten household, where they can all predict the future and stuff.
Oh,
yeah.
I got to sit with him with a crystal ball.
Yeah, we need to see it.
Oh, I told my wife numbers. I need to say 8 numbers, like the lotto, you know? Come on, give it to me, honey. The big stare.
So what do you see ahead for the year 20? I don't know why I said that, like really kind of the year of our Lord 2024. But what do you see ahead for Karate Combat? And
already been talking, he's doing some phenomenal things. I mean, we're going to go overseas. We're going to do a lot of crazy shows. I'll let him talk about that, because I don't know exactly what I can share yet, but what he's been telling me, it's going to be phenomenal. I think it's really going to put karate on the map, Karate Combat on the map.
Don't worry, when you come to Dubai, I have the perfect meal for you waiting.
There you go.
There's some cool things happening going into 2024 that I was telling Bas. I can finally release it, okay? So this is cool. I've been trying to lock down a date so much, you know? So here we go. We have a place called Goat Mansion back in Miami. Okay, it's a beautiful, beautiful home, our residence. Now, what we decided to do is sort of a contender series for Karate Combat. We call it the Kumite. We're gonna bring in the highest level professional strikers. They're gonna go ahead and fight for a contract. We'll have them living in my house for a week, living at the Goat Mansion. We'll break bread together. We'll get to know each other. We'll talk about karate traditions, what's important in our league, get to know each other as well. So that way we're just not basing it off fighting skills. We need to know each other, you know? Find out who represents karate in a great way, fighting skills and personality, and have them fight for the contract in the backyard in the tennis court with Goat Mansion in the background. It'll be beautiful.
I hope that we're not doing real karate traditions, Asim, because there's only so much people can drink.
Well, I will not make anyone drink piss that day. Whoever does it is
we're gonna go, this is the traditions of karate. There's like a cup of piss in front of everyone.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen.
Look, I have some pretty wacky ideas out there, but man, I don't know why. When I joined Karate Combat and I saw Leo Machine, I said, wait a minute. Inauguration, I must drink my urine. It has to happen.
Makes total sense.
It sounds like this is something that he's just been wanting to do for a while.
God has been directing him to that moment.
Through it, you know what I mean? And then he looks cool to his uni friends. He was like, see, I told you what we were doing was cool. It was karate, but don't worry.
You should have seen my wife's face for that one. She was not very happy.
No, your face afterwards, you go.
Even when we described this, when I see this video, I still get it was terrible. It was absolutely terrible. They do this. Shinzo Machida told me they do this every day still.
Yeah.
Shinzo does this every day leading up to this fight. I don't know.
At least they let it cool down a little bit, I think.
Right?
You know, I don't know.
Even on the episode, I made him drink some water. I was like, that's what it's supposed to taste like. I know what you're doing, bro.
No, but he came straight from the tap.
Right.
You know, and what they say, you know, officially you have to let the first 10 seconds flow.
Yeah, you know why, right?
Yeah, because all the crap is in there.
It's not just crap. It's because people do it first thing in the morning, right? And you know, as a man, first thing in the morning, there's build up of extra stuff. So you need to let that. That's actually the reason why. Yeah.
You hear that? It's even worse.
How many did you do? They call it the goat shed, right?
I'm not exaggerating. I gag every time. I'm not exaggerating. I gag every time.
You can't say I gag every time. After what we just said, he's like, I gag every time. Awesome, you got. I think he missed it. That's what it was.
Thank you for the enlightenment. I'm so happy to see his face right now.
It's disgusting. It's disgusting.
But dude, this is again a testament to Karate Combat. The fact that you have Bas Rutten, GSP, getting a call and instantly wanting to do it. It's not a case of there's a huge negotiation thing and they're like, does this suit my brand? What if they're like, I want to do this because they recognize.
And he said, literally he said, you know, and money-wise and everything, I always wanted to look for something that brought me back to my roots. That's literally his words. He says, and now you're presenting me with this. I would love to be involved in this.
So, I want to say something very important too. So Adam was the first president of Karate Combat. And I don't think I could have ever done what he did. He got karate from here and brought it to this level. I could have never been that guy. Now, at this point now, I feel I can bring something unique and take it to a different level, you know, and skyrocket from there. But it's very important. What he did, I couldn't do. So he's the one that really put this together, and we have the honor of having Bas Rutten and GSP and Leo Machine. He was the one that was able to do all of that. What you see today, yes, I can take credit for. You know, there's Sugar Sean O'Malley's going to be here. Henry Sudo's involved. I mean, some of the biggest. Yes, I did that. But with these wonderful legends, hats off to the first presidents of karate combat ever.
100%.
Absolutely.
100%. Having legends with stories.
He unfollowed me, by the way, but hats off to
he
him.
has to.
No problem.
Obviously. I'm sure that Obama unfollowed Trump when he became president too, bro. So it happens. But having these legends with these stories as well, like GSP again, has got. Like, I can't figure out whether he is designed from Bloodsport and Kickboxer, or Kickboxer and Bloodsport was designed about him, bro. Like, the story is the same. Like every time I see him fight, I'm like, Naksu Kao! Do you know what I mean? It's just like incredible. He has that vibe where if you literally put GSP in that movie, it would fit so well. Yep. Do you know what I mean? If he just literally took that role and carried on, and then they told you that's his true life story, I'd believe it. I'd be like, yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Well, the fight against, what was it, Captain America, right? That was a nice fight. I did it in the movies. Yeah. With his backflips and everything. Definitely. So I got is that George?
Yeah, right?
George.
It's crazy.
Yeah, that was awesome. Yeah, no, he's something, man. He's just, it's a whole different level of respect. And that's what I like. And that's the same with Leodo and the same with Steven and all these guys, because they came from these karate roots. You will not have problems with guys like that.
I gotta say with Bas, so Bas is a real hero of not only mine, but my father. My father and I would watch him. To be honest, Pride back in the day, one of my favorite organizations, still till today, I think they put on some of the best shows. Without Bas, Pride would have never been Pride. 100%, never, 100%. never. And he had that combination of like, okay, he's that respected man. He values the tradition of the martial arts. At the same time, he knew how to make a show. He was El Guapo, and he had that voice, and he was the charisma. And I absolutely loved that sort of combination. And that's what Pride needed. That's what the sport needed to get the eyes on him, you know, for sure. Sorry, to get the eyes on the
whole,
sport.
Just the whole vibe of you when you were fighting, even like just walking back the last wave, like, you'd be like, how is this murderer so nice? Like at the same time, like, and I notice this because I have a lot of friends who are just killers, and it's so strange that, you know, they say the big dogs and the little dogs did the bark. It's like, it's insane how the most dangerous people I know in the world are the nicest people, and then Terry from around the corner acts like he's a dickhead but can't do anything to anyone. Do you know what I mean? Definitely. It's so, I mean, if your name is Terry, sorry, I don't want to be specific, but you're probably like that too, bro. Right. Yeah. But it's like, it's incredible how that is. And I think the humility just comes from A, the martial arts, B, from being punched in the face so much that you actually respect.
And I think also there's a reason people pick a martial art, right? Most of the time it is they are bullied or something. And guys like that, because I never got to understood the guys who were bullied and then started bullying other people. I go, so you liked it when they were bullying you? No. I said, so why would you do that to other people? And I think that if you're just a regular person, you're going to go, I'm going to make sure nobody's going to do that to anybody else. Because in the school also, after I knocked the guy out, well, any other kid who got bullied, well, I took care of that. See, now I went after everybody. So
he had a soundtrack coming in.
He's a superhero.
Just running in
slow motion. He needed the cape. We got to make that for him.
Yeah,
you know, for sure.
One thing that I want to know, and I think this is, in my head, this is absolutely hilarious. We're older now, not the young Bas that you used to be. Have you ever had situations where people are like, getting a bit too overexcited and they're looking at you and they're thinking, oh, he's an older guy, I can take him, kind of thing, not knowing that the path that they're taking right now is the most dangerous path they've taken in their life.
I can't imagine.
There's people outside of the MMA world who don't know you as Bas Rutten and would not literally cross the road.
But look at those eyes.
Yeah.
There's something about those eyes.
I know.
Those eyes, you don't want to put, you know, there's something different about them.
He's the kind of guy that you drop a sledgehammer on his foot and he'd be like, don't worry about it, man. And when someone does that, you're like,
one of the scariest things, Bas. Sometimes I'll talk to Bas and he'll squint at me and he analyzes what I say. I get terrified. I don't show it.
I get absolutely terrified. He's nice enough to get it back after. He puts it back in there after.
He always says sweet things with the eyes. The eyes.
The eyes never lie, Chico. That's your movie again. I used to have it. I had a big laugh with I was teaching at Chuck Liddell's place, and after we went to a bar, and this little guy started against me, and Chuck, every time he told us to do it, you're making a mistake, you know. And I go, I don't want to do it. He goes, oh, you're afraid? I say, I'm very afraid that I don't want to do it. So we called the bouncers, and so we had that a few times until I had my fight against the 5 bouncers in Sweden, that whole big story. After that, I never had it again. So once that story came out, I think I had it. I had it one more time with a football player. I don't want to go into that because I feel bad about it.
See, there's Damien knows the story. Let's tell the story, please, because people have the shout out to McDojo Life sitting in the back. What's happening, bro?
Yeah. So yeah, no. Thankfully, after that, it stopped. People,
Yeah.
I think, are more serious. And and just like you said, I'm always the nice guy, but I'm also, once they push and they keep on pushing, then once I flip, I can't turn it back.
Yeah.
And most of the time, with all the stories that you hear, that's that moment there. When I already apologized 7, 8 times, and I don't want to do anything,
Yeah.
even if it's not my fault, I apologize. I don't want to fight, and then I suddenly go, and then I won't stop. Then I'll make sure that everybody's.
You see the way he apologized? So coming from a martial arts background, he's just like, after I apologized, I was like, he has his hands set already.
Always.
Distance covered, everything.
Always talking.
Like I've seen some people, dude, and there's like, I remember being out once and one of my friends was just being a dick to this guy, and it became a group of guys things, and I walked in just to see what's going on. And sometimes it's like there's always the friend that can't fight, that wants to fight, and then relies on everyone else to kind of help.
Yeah.
I walked in and I just looked around and I just looked at all the ears, bro, and I was just like, guys, this is not the one that you want. It was like cauliflower ear central guy, and they don't know because they have no idea of mixed martial arts or anything like that. I was like, just let this one go, bro. This is not a good night.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? I was just like, just let this one go, bro. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they have no concept of that. So now anytime I'll just look at the ears, I'll be like, how you doing, brother? You're good?
yeah.
Yeah.
You just reminded me. Remember, we were in the nighttime in the Sky Bar or whatever
Yes,
this was.
yes.
Well, one thing to say, I've never tasted alcohol in my life, so I'm saying bar, but we weren't drinking, But anyways, we were sitting there with one of the founders of Karate Combat in Dubai. Okay, so I don't know the laws in Dubai, right? Some guy, it was our table that we paid for. Some guy sat and kind of shoved him out the way, a bigger guy, to talk to a lady. Now, this is the founder of Karate Combat. I cannot allow this.
Yeah.
So right away, I grabbed him by the arm. I don't want to demonstrate on you. I grabbed him by the arm and pulled him close. He looked at me like he saw a ghost, because in Dubai, you don't touch
you don't do that stuff.
Oh wow.
You don't. He looked at me, and then right away, security came and whatever, handled it. Thank God nothing came of it. And then right away, he said, listen to me. Don't touch anybody in Dubai.
Dude,
Explain, please.
So in Dubai, we don't fight.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. It's very respectful. It's like, look, we don't play that shit. And if you fight, you're going to spend a couple of nights in jail and maybe get deported if it's a serious thing. And if you make the other person bleed, you got to pay them blood money. It's like very kind of like, look, we have 4 rules in this place.
That's how it's
Respect
supposed
the
to be.
4 rules.
I love it.
And
I love
literally,
it.
I'm telling you, I could get my iPhone or whatever, leave it on the table, go for 4 hours, come back, it will still be there.
Yeah,
Everything is
it's like
super
Japan.
safe there.
Yep.
A funny thing where his trauma came out. So I took him to Abu Dhabi to meet with like the top people in mixed martial arts there. So we're at Fuad's, shout out Fuad Darwish, we're at the office, and somebody comes into the office from the other side. So Fuad gets up immediately and goes to go and shake their hand. He goes out to the outside. This guy stands up and is ready to fight people like this.
You guys have to hear the story.
He
Boss,
gets
you would have
out,
done the same thing.
And then we're like, what are you doing? Like all of us are looking at him like, what are you doing, bro?
Someone
And he's like, I
important-
thought something was going down.
Someone important outside the room that I didn't see walked in. So 3 people jumped up and ran out the door. Right away, I jumped up and I circled to the door. And then
I'm pissing myself laughing, and I'm there just cracking up. And he's like, what's going on? He's sweating.
No,
And
ready.
He's like, what's going on? He was literally sweating.
I put my hands up, and then I see people embracing
And
each other,
we're all
hugging,
hugging and kissing.
outside,
There
you
and
go.
kissing.
Oh,
And I
okay.
said, "Oh my God!" He said, "There's
And
no
I just-
fights in Dubai.
Yeah.
Relax, man."
And
I said, "Oh my."
especially not in a government office. Do you know what I mean? The sheikh's office. Like, who's going there? Like, that's a man with a death
But
note.
hey,
you know?
look, now you know. I'm ready for you guys,
Yeah, yeah.
right? I'm ready. I sprint towards the
next time,
danger.
relax. Relax. Yeah, it was hilarious. But again, even when we went to Abu Dhabi and Dubai, like they were so interested in when we came with the pitch and told them what was going on, they were so open to it, kind of thing, that they were ready to go.
They're in love. Dubai and Abu Dhabi are in love with karate combat, in love with everything going
They're
on.
in love with just martial arts in general. You have the UAE Warriors. The biggest jiu-jitsu going on in the world is in Abu Dhabi. So they have the biggest center there. The most black belts in the world all live there. It's incredible. Like even in school, in primary school, they learn jiu-jitsu. Boys, girls, everything is part of the curriculum. So
But this is also completely different than anything else. I think that's also a big thing for them. You know, now they have something unique.
Yeah.
There's only one.
Yes.
There's only one. How many organizations you have in mixed martial arts? Yeah, we know that one rules everything. We understand that. But there's a lot of different organizations. Bare knuckle boxing, everything's there. Karate is only one. You see, so I think that's what they put on the map.
yeah.
And for them, they go like, oh, it's a new thing. We would love to have that here because we got different countries.
Definitely.
I think you can come in every country. You can come there.
100%.
And then they see a bald bearded brown man. They're like, "Oh, this is the president."
That's
Okay.
it. Done. Signed.
You know?
We just need to dress him in a kandora and he's ready to go.
One thing I got obsessed with this region. They were such wonderful people. One thing that I was shocked about, we're meeting the most important people in Abu Dhabi and Dubai, all these people. One thing they spoke about is, what impact will they have on our community? So, what do you mean? He said, look, one thing we love about karate, there's respect, there's discipline.
Yep.
We want our young children to grow up and this to be the culture in Abu Dhabi and Dubai. I said, wow, how amazing. They're so forward thinking that they want the children to be healthy, disciplined, respectful. And that's part of our mission to go ahead and push karate, those values to these children. You know, that was such a cool thing.
That's why all the schools in the Middle East are doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, right?
Yeah.
In school. We do wrestling, but Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is so good for your cognitive function, for everything.
100%.
You know, and that's why, like you said, they're there for the kids. They need to grow, they need to get
just
stronger.
building them, the mind-muscle
Unlike
connection.
what we got here in America right now, make it weaker, make it weaker. It's almost look like.
Let's,
Shame.
yeah, 100%. Just move to Dubai, all of us. Come on. Let's go. I'll set it
warm.
I'll set it all up. That's all right, dude. We have a ski resort in the mall. If you go warm, go there and do a bit of snowboarding and you'll be fine.
You know, I'm born and raised in Miami. I'm very proud of Miami. I love Miami. This is my home, you know, and I went to Dubai and Abu Dhabi and I looked around, I said, okay, we'll take a silver medal. These guys, I got to bow down to. They did a wonderful job.
Yeah,
it was
it's
so
really nice.
beautiful.
Yeah, I was
so
in that. It was
respectful.
the Venetian. I went to a big aquarium in the
Dubai
shopping mall.
Yeah.
That's why. Yeah, it was. I stayed at that place. It was nice. It was really nice. But like I said, it was hot, and I was laughing because we were on the street and we saw. Bus stops, AC bus stops, and I go like, they got AC in the bus stops. He says, oh, otherwise people die, boss.
Exactly.
From the heat.
100%.
I go like, what the heck?
100%.
You know what's so great? You know, in Miami, you know, it's my dream one day that my wife has somebody to take her around and be just around her. So I know when I'm not there, when I'm working, she's taken care of and she's protected, you know. And then in Dubai, there was no problem having her walk
you can walk around
I
at 2 in the
felt
morning.
no problem. And she was walking around, you know, alone. And I never felt uncomfortable about that. In Miami, late nights,
of course,
I wouldn't like that, you know, for her protection, you know.
Safety is everything, man.
Yes, yeah.
And the freaking airports, I mean,
Incredible,
are the cleaner airports in the world.
Dude,
They're
that's
free, and
when I came
what
here,
they're wearing, it's spotless.
Yeah.
You know?
And you know what's really funny? It's like I talk to my cousins and my friends and I'm like, how you just ate a ramen noodle and there's not a spot on you. Like, how are we doing this? Like, it's just like years of reaching out and doing that.
Chopsticks like that.
And let's talk about bare knuckles since you brought it up, because I'm interested. Do you see the devolution of safety in fighting?
Yeah.
And how do you feel about that? Because I feel like the way people are when it comes to martial arts, we're going back to the gladiator ages. Like, I think that if there was a place where there was an event where we're like, okay, we got pick your weapons, and they run and they all pick up spears, and I think people will go and watch it, like even like to the death. I think we're at that stage now where people, they wouldn't be like, you're not, but they will. I think you could fill a stadium.
I might watch it.
Yeah,
I apologize.
you'd fill a stadium easy with that.
Oh, 100%. Especially with weapons, people are going to watch it. It's such a big pay-per-view. I guarantee you that. It's going to last, I don't know. I think the bare knuckle boxing, if you box like you originally should box bare knuckle, which means if you go to the Englishmen, guys who've been doing it for freaking decades, they go 80% to the body, and then the rest goes to the head because they understand they can break their hands. Here in America, they didn't have that concept yet. Here, for these guys, they just swing for the fences. They don't care if they break their hands until they start breaking their hands. And then, of course, because then they can't fight for a long time. So I think we need to go through that evolution first, because right now, bare knuckle boxing, officially, if you take bare knuckle boxing from England, it's much safer than MMA or than kickboxing or regular boxing is. People go, really? I say, yeah, because the wounds are superficial and the impact is not really to the head. It's more focused on the body.
100%.
But not in America. In America, it's still they're swinging for the heads, and that's that kind of worries me. You know,
America, and some of the after the fights, when you look at the faces,
that
you're
the
like,
girl,
that's where your face is supposed to be.
You saw,
you know
but you saw that girl was interviewed. Imagine that being your daughter, and she always can't speak. Oh, I think I had a great performance, and her face is completely smashed in. And I go, why even interview her and put this out? You know, this is not a promotion for, hey, I want to start bare knuckle boxing because that didn't look good. And if I was a parent, that would be very, very worth there. So,
you know, I'll say this. I agree with all of your opinions. There's a part of me, though, that absolutely loves bare knuckle boxing because you get to find out what would actually work in a real fight, right?
Yeah.
It's not a protected world where it's not real with the gloves. In a real fight, you're going to be bare knuckle. So a part of me says, okay, I wish no time limit, no weight class, bare knuckle MMA, no rule back in the day.
And then fight like in England. Then I'm 100% okay with it.
Yes. So a part of me wants that, but I totally, you're right. Some of the times it's very scary, but I can see a productiveness of it a little bit as well, you know, but definitely this gives an outlet, right? Because a lot of people are going into the bare knuckle because there's good money in it and different things like that. But now with Karate Combat exploding.
We got 3 bare knuckle boxers on the card.
Exactly. We got the undefeated BKFC world champion, bare knuckle world champion. He's already beaten 4 UFC vets in BKFC, had some of the hardest fights, and he's here with us, multi-fight deal, you know?
How do you top this card?
Good luck.
Yes, it's very tough, right? Well, I really feel when we get all the eyes on us after this event, hitting it in January, we want an event every month, 12 events a year, right? Hitting it in January right away with this contender-style Kumite at Goat Mansion is another disruptive event. And that's what we need. We need to shake up the martial arts world. This will shake up everything. That Kumite at Dana Brown's backyard, maybe, Goat Mansion, that's going to shake up the world. That's why it's going to be very interesting, never seen before. And I think it's something cool for everyone to watch. So constantly I have to come up with each event something special. Hey, going into that region, Abu Dhabi, Dubai, huge for us. Getting over there, huge for us. So definitely.
I mean, after all that, all I had was GSP Bisping, but that would be great, right?
Yeah. That would be something.
Let's make some calls, dude.
Even Lyoto, it would also be great to have him here. He's Stephen Wonderboy, but he's still got locked in, I guess, with the contract. But there's a lot of great strikers out there. And he's opening the floodgates for everybody now.
It. And
so
that's incredible that you're giving the opportunity to everyone, man.
Definitely.
Like again, it's a testament to everything. Is
you
there
know,
anything...
sorry to interrupt you again, but this is very important. Again, I want to constantly address the purists because I don't want to go against them. I want to earn their love and admiration. One thing they have to understand is, say, hey, you're putting Perez and Benson, they're Taekwondo backgrounds, they're retired UFC champions, and you're putting them together. What is this? What they don't understand is the whole card is strategic. I got some of our homegrown guys, traditional karate guys, and I want to get the eyes on them. What better way to get absolute superstars like Anthony Perez and Benson Henderson? Now, all the eyes they attract will be scattered down to all these future superstars in our event, and they'll be able to carry that on in 2024. So, hey, some people are upset. You get these retired UFC champions, different styles. But what they have to understand is we want to evolve the actual karate guys. We need to add this in so they can get the viewership as well.
100%, 100%. Guys, it's been an absolute pleasure to host the first ever Karate Combat / Jibber with Jabber podcast. More to come in the future. The Karate Combat podcast is going to be on the way. Bas,
appreciate it, brother.
It's been an absolute pleasure, and we will get you on for another episode in Dubai.
Sounds good.
Awesome. You've been awesome.
He's been awesome. It's the best name.
We missed out, you think?
No, I'm absolutely happy, and this is a tremendous honor to have our first podcast ever.
Yeah.
Obviously with Mount Rushmore right here, Bas Rutten.
Boom.